Number 34, a table of values for the quadratic function f is shown below. If 3 has one solution to f of x equals 0, what is the value of the other solution? Remember that solutions are where your y is 0, and so this would be your other solution. -7 is your answer. Number 35, a print shop charges a fixed amount per photocopy and gives a 10% discount off the total cost of the photocopies. The total cost is a function of the number of photocopies made. What is the independent? Remember, that's what's in the problem. You got to take this sentence right here, and you may not actually turn it into an equation, but cost is a function of. And so that means that the number of photocopies is going to be in there. Cost is, that right there would be your y, that right there would be your x. And so the number of photocopies made is going to be your independent. So D. Okay. What you would be finding, and anytime you have cost or money, it's almost always going to be your y, which is your dependent. Looking at number 36, set of ordered pairs below represents some points on the graph of the function. What is the parent function? Well, basically, I would just draw my little plus for my graph and plot the points. Don't be perfect, just a basic idea. Over 3, up 11. -1, 3. 5, 15. 5, 15. -4, -3. -7, -9. In general, what does that make? Makes a line which is linear, and so y equal x. 37, the average annual rainfall for a particular city is 33.2 inches. In the first 30 weeks of this year, the city received a total of 9.7 inches of rain. If it is expected to rain between 1.5 and 2.1 inches per week throughout the end of the year, what is a reasonable number of additional weeks needed for this the city to reach its average? Okay, well, the average is 33.2. That's what we want to get to. Okay, we've already had 9.7, so we're going to subtract that out. Okay, so we still need 23.5. If we get between 1.5 and 2.1, so I would divide that by 1.5, and I would divide that by 2.1 and see what I got. So if you take that 23.5 divided by 1.5, you're going to get 15.67, and then 23.5 divided by 2.1 is going to give you 11.1. So between 16 and 11 is what I would say, between 16 and 11. So what would be a reasonable number of additional weeks? Which one falls in that area? And that would be 13. Going to the next one, number 38. Remember, you do not have to read what's above it. Which statement describes the data? The number of points scored on quiz 2 was less than the number of points scored on quiz 1 for anybody that scored at least 50 on quiz 1. So here's 50 on quiz 1. Pick somebody over here that scored, like, let's say they scored 80. Okay, what did they make on quiz 2? 90. That would be a point 80, 90. Okay, quiz 2 would be 90. And quiz 2 would 80. Is 90 less than 80? No. All right, now I need a student who scored 50 or fewer. So if here's someone that scored 30 and 10. Okay, so quiz 2 was 10. Quiz 1 was 30. Is 10 greater than 30? No. So now I need somebody that was 50, at least 50, so that would be back to my 80, 90. Quiz 2 is 90. Quiz 1 is 80. Was 90 greater? Yes. And then we have our 30, 10 again. Quiz 2 was 10. Quiz 1 was 30. Is 10 less than 30? Yes. So it's one of these. You're just going to have to pick a couple more points and try it again. Someone that made a 40 made a 30. Okay. Someone that made a 50 made a 40. Okay, that would be someone that made a 50 or fewer on quiz 1. So is 50 less than, no wait, is 30 less than 40? Yes. Is 40 less than 50? Yes. So those are both still So now find someone that made, here's a 60 and a 70. Here's somebody that made 100 and 100. Okay, could you do 100, 100? So is 100 greater than 100? No. So J is your answer. You're just picking points and trial and error and see which one works. Going to 39. The number of ferry boat trips needed to transport C cars in one day can be found by the function f of C is equal to C over 20. If there are no more than 5,000 cars, what is the range? Range is talking about your y, which is f of C. So no more than 5,000. So 5,000 would be C divided by 20. 5,000 divided by 20 is 250. Okay, so there's going to be no more than, so it'd be less than or equal to, right? So not that, not that. Greater than or equal to, or from 0 to 250 would be less than. Number 40. High school band held a bake sale. The number of cupcakes sold was 4 more than twice the number of cookies. So we have cupcakes and we have cookies. So they sold a total of 52. So cupcakes plus cookies has to equal 52. Cupcakes was, which means is, which means equals 4 more than, so that's plus 4, twice the number of cookies, 2C. So you could do trial and error, you could solve it however you wanted to go about this. If there were, now remember what they're asking for here is your K. Okay, so what I would probably do is I would come here and instead of a K, right here I would put 2C plus 4. 2C plus 4 plus C is equal to 52. Okay, so then I would go to my calculator and I would go to y equal and I would clear everything out and I would say 2x plus 4 plus x, and then I would say 52, and I would do second, calc 5, let it draw, enter, 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 and x is 16. So that would be C is equal to 16. And so then I would take my calculator and I would go to the home screen and I would say 52 minus 16 is 36. And so that means it was 36. Going to number 41. What is the equation for the axis of symmetry? Remember, axis of symmetry cuts something in half. So you're needing to know where the middle of these 2 points would be. Over 1, over 1, over 2, over 2, here it is. Okay, so it's got to go through -3, so it's not that and it's not that. And it's a vertical line, it's crossing the x-axis, and so it is x equal -3. If you just tried drawing those lines on your graph that they gave you, if you drew x equal -3, you would look at that and you would compare it. Is it in the middle? If you do y equal -3, it would look like that. It's obviously not in the middle of those points. Does that make sense? Going to number 42. Remember, you don't have to read what it's about. Based on the data, what is the total number of dishes if they've used it 9 times? You're basically extending it one more time. You can either look for your pattern, okay? 104 minus 52 was 52. 156 minus 104 was 52. 208 minus 156. It's going up 52 every time, so 208 plus 52. It's 260 for your answer, okay? On a short one like that, where you're, oh, but see, that would have tricked us, right? Because that's not my answer. That would actually not be for 9. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 would be 260, right? So that wouldn't work. You could figure out it's going up 52 each time, right? So you could take 52 divided by 2 and figure out it's actually going up 26, so 208 plus 26 would be 234, just to check myself, plus another 26 would get me to my 260. So 234 is the actual answer on this. 234. When you're extending the table, you've got to be careful, and you got to realize when they're counting by twos on the left instead of by ones. Don't let them trick you. You could also have put those points into stat and gone to stat calc 5 and got an equation, put it into y equal, and looked at your table for when x was 9. Anytime they give you a list like this, go over there and say this is y, and my x is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might not use it, but do that. That's what your first thought needs to be. If the pattern continues, which expression could be used? What I would probably do is put their answer choices into y equal. And so we have 2x divided by 3, and I would go to my table, and I would go down here to the points that I have. So that, let's let it start at 1. All right, 1 is 0.67. Is that what 1/3 is? If you're not sure, go to your home screen. 1 divided by 3, that is actually 0.33. So it's not this one, because we had 0.67. Go to y equal, clear it out. It's going to be x squared divided by 3. Go to your table. And yes, that one worked. Then don't just use that one, because you've got to check everything. In fact, while I'm here, I'd probably check some more points. 3 has to be with 3. It is. 6 has to be with 12. That one's looking really good, but I would still check the others. Okay, we've got x squared divided by 6. Go to your table. 1 is 0.167. It's not going to work. And then we have 2x divided by 6. So 2x divided by 6. Go to your table. 1 is 0.3. 3 is 1. 3 needs to be 3. So it's not that, it's b. But check all of them just to make sure. You don't want to take chances on this. Number 44. If the rate at which the tank is drained is changed to 3 inches per hour and the initial water level stays the same, how long would it take it? Okay, what would be the difference? Well, you're changing the rate, you're changing the slope. So it's going to be 3 inches per hour. So right here it went down too. So at 1 hour we went 12 minus, you would say 12 minus 3 is 9. So at 1 hour it's going to be at 9. Minus 3 at 2 hours it's going to be at 6. Minus 3 3 hours it's going to be at 3. Minus 3 at 4 hours it's going to be at 0. So it's going to be at 4 instead of at 6. So is it 4 fewer, or do you need to say 6 minus 4 equals 2? It's going to take 2 fewer hours. Going to number 45. Architect is designing a building with N floors. We have a radio antenna 15.85 meters tall on its roof. Each floor is 3.9 high. Which function can be used? Okay, each floor is 3.9. That means 3.9 has to be with X or with some kind of variable. Is it here? No. Is it here? Yes, but is it with 3.9? No. So now are you going to add the antenna or subtract the antenna? Well, think about it. You have your building. You have all of your floors and the antenna, so that does indeed mean to add it. Looking at number 46. X-intercepts are going to be where it crosses the x-axis. I would go to y equal. I would put my equation in. So we have 5x squared plus 4x minus 1. We want the x-intercepts. That's where it crosses the x-axis. You could go zoom 6 and look at your graph. And it's kind of hard to tell, right? So what I would probably do is go to my table, and you know it's going to be where y is 0. And I know one of them is going to be negative 1. So that's good, that's bad, that's good, and that's bad. So go back to your table and tell it, go to 0. Is it 0, 0? No. So that one's bad. And it should be this. If you want to make sure Go to second and table setup.